Ladies and gentlemen, gather round, for today we embark on a journey through the labyrinthine corridors of the EU AI Act, a legislative behemoth that attempts to tame the unruly beast that is artificial intelligence. If you thought regulating AI was a walk in the park, think again. It's more akin to herding cats, blindfolded on a unicycle while juggling flaming swords. But fear not, dear reader, for I shall be your guide, armed with a quiver of intellectual humor and a keen eye for the absurd. Act on. The birth of a regulatory Hydra. Once upon a time in the hallowed halls of Brussels, the European Commission decided that AI needed a rulebook. This was not just any rulebook, mind you, but one that would ensure AI systems were safe, ethical, and respectful of fundamental rights. Enter the AI Act, a legislative Hydra with more heads than a Greek mythological monster. Each head represents a different facet of risk, from high-risk AI systems that could jeopardize our very existence to low-risk ones that might just mildly annoy us. The AI Act, in its infinite wisdom, categorizes AI systems into 3 risk classes: unacceptable, high, and low or minimal. Unacceptable risks are, well, unacceptable and are to be banned outright. High-risk systems must jump through a series of regulatory hoops, including rigorous testing, documentation, and oversight. Low-risk systems, meanwhile, can go about their business with minimal interference, much like a teenager left home alone for the weekend. But wait, there's more! The Act also introduces the concept of systemic risk, which sounds like something out of a dystopian novel. General-purpose AI models, those versatile chameleons of the tech world, are to be scrutinized for their potential to wreak havoc on society. It's as if the EU has taken a leaf out of Asimov's handbook and decided that any AI capable of doing more than one thing must be watched closely, lest it decide to overthrow humanity and declare itself supreme overlord. Act 2. The paradoxes of fundamental rights. The AI Act's primary goal is to protect fundamental rights, those lofty ideals enshrined in the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union. These include the right to privacy, freedom of expression, human dignity, and more. The Act's drafters must have felt like medieval knights, sworn to defend these rights against the AI dragon. However, in their noble quest, they stumbled upon a paradox. The Act attempts to frame all possible harms of AI in terms of fundamental rights. This sounds great on paper, but in practice, it creates a maze of communicative paradoxes. For instance, how does one balance the right to privacy against the need for surveillance to ensure public safety? Or the right to free expression against the potential spread of harmful misinformation? These paradoxes are akin to a game of intellectual twister, with regulators contorting themselves into ever more awkward positions to make sense of it all. It's a bit like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while blindfolded. Theoretically possible, but practically maddening. Act 3. The comedy of risk communication. The EU's approach to AI regulation draws heavily on sociological risk research, particularly the work of Niklas Luhmann. Luhmann's theory of risk is based on the idea that risk is a product of human decision-making and communication. In other words, risks are not objective realities but socially constructed phenomena. This is where things get truly Kafkaesque. The AI Act's risk-based regulation tries to account for every conceivable harm AI might inflict, from physical and psychological harm to societal and economic damage. It's as if the drafters sat down and brainstormed every possible dystopian scenario they could think of, then decided to legislate against them all. This approach, while ambitious, leads to what can only be described as regulatory overreach. By attempting to cover every base, the Act ends up creating a tangled web of rules and requirements that even the most well-intentioned AI developers will struggle to navigate. It's like building a labyrinth to keep out minotaurs, only to realize that you've trapped yourself inside with no way out. Act 4. The dance of values and trust. In the midst of this regulatory chaos, the AI Act places a heavy emphasis on trustworthiness. Trust, in the context of AI, is like a delicate flower, easy to destroy, hard to cultivate. The Act insists that AI systems must be trustworthy, which sounds lovely until you try to define what trustworthy actually means. Trustworthiness, according to the AI Act, involves adherence to fundamental rights, ethical principles, and robustness. This is where things get delightfully nebulous. How does one measure adherence to ethical principles? What constitutes robustness in an AI system? These are questions that would stump even the wisest of philosophers. To add to the confusion, the Act conflates trust with compliance. It assumes that if an AI system complies with the regulations, it will automatically be trusted by the public. This is a bit like assuming that if you wear a suit, people will automatically trust you, regardless of whether you're a used car salesman or a bank robber. Act 5. The epilogue of unintended consequences. As the curtain falls on this regulatory drama, we're left with a sense of bemusement. The AI Act, in its quest to create conditions for trustworthy AI, has woven a tapestry of paradoxes, ambiguities, and unintended consequences. It's a classic case of good intentions paving the road to regulatory purgatory. The Act's reliance on risk-based regulation, while intellectually appealing, is fraught with practical challenges. By attempting to cover every possible harm, it risks creating a regulatory environment that is both overly complex and difficult to enforce. This, in turn, could stifle innovation and hinder the very progress it seeks to promote. Moreover, the Act's emphasis on trustworthiness, while laudable, is based on a flawed assumption that compliance equals trust. Trust, as any sociologist will tell you, is a deeply social construct that cannot be mandated by law. It must be earned through transparency, accountability, and genuine engagement with stakeholders. In conclusion, the EU AI Act is a fascinating case study in the complexities of regulating emerging technologies. It highlights the challenges of balancing innovation with fundamental rights and the difficulties of navigating the murky waters of risk communication. As we move forward, it is crucial that we remain vigilant, adaptable, and open to the lessons learned from this grand regulatory experiment. So, dear reader, as you ponder the potential harms of AI and the labyrinthine regulations designed to mitigate them, take a moment to appreciate the sheer audacity of the endeavor. For in the end, it is the comedy of errors, the intellectual gymnastics, and the dance of values that make this regulatory saga truly entertaining. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more AI-powered antics, go ahead and smash that subscribe button like it's an outdated CAPTCHA. Until next time, keep your algorithms error-free and your coffee strong.